Okay, Power 10. What is Power 10? Power 10 is helping someone, okay, the way we're defining it, direct to you, that you've hired direct to you, issue pay 10 issue pay policies. And why is that important? Well, statistically, as I push my nerd glasses up my nose, statistically, it means that they have a likelihood of sticking around. You get them to issue pay 10 policies, they're probably making money. They're probably more excited, right, than when they haven't sold anything. And then we're getting them into the system. They're just, it's like this fetus that just kind of got birthed, right? And now we've gotten them to where they're getting self-sufficient. So they got a chance, man, when you get them to 10 issue pay policies. Now, I'm up here because I seem to have done it well with that, but not in my opinion. I mean, I could be so much better. So they wanted me to come in and maybe help you figure that part out. How do we get people to 0 to 10 issue pay policies? And everything I'm teaching you today, everything I'm going over is stuff I learned from Andy. You know, everything, like everything. So I'm not coming up with anything original. In fact, what's funny about the Power 10 this last year in 2019 is I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing to track on a leaderboard. Really, it was just by accident that I found out, hey, man, you're like the #1 agent in the Alliance. And it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I wasn't even looking at that. I look at it as getting people started properly, getting them integrated into our system. It's like Nick Saban talks about, if he can get his players falling in love with the system, his system, then they're going to be competitive for national championships. He's just got to get his players falling in love with the system. And that's really our process of getting people to the Power 10, is getting them to fall in love with the system. Now, the beautiful thing about it is you cannot have people that don't want to be helped, right? That's such an important thing to think about. You can't help people that don't want to be helped, so there's only so much you can do. But with the stuff you can do, well, then why not do it? Why not help people? And I'm going to go over that right now, but let me show you a pretty cool incentive that they got going on that I think is really cool. And this is a new GSB bonus this year. Okay, so we've got, hold on. Check this out, this is really cool. So not only can you get personal production GSB, what's GSB? It's a Good Samaritan bonus. So when you achieve these production levels at the end of the month, they're going to donate, Andy's going to donate to a personal charity of your choice to donate money on your behalf, which is really cool. So you can see the personal production levels that will earn $25, $50, $100, $150, $200, but now he's added this Power of 10 GSB bonus. So if you help one person, okay, get to the Power of 10, you get to donate $50 to a charity of your choice. And I got to do that several times last year, which is really cool. 2 people is $150, 3 people $300, all the way up to 12 people, $3,900. Man, it is so awesome that, you know, that Andy's providing this. So another incentive to really help people out, not only because it's going to help you, but you know what, you get to help the charity of your choice. So if that means anything to you, I think that's kind of a cool thing. All right, so let's jump into it. I'm gonna oh man, that's one thing, man. I tell you what, our staff they're just humble people, man. They're just like the greatest. It's interesting how we attract the right people because of who we are as a culture. And that's the beautiful thing, man. I remember back in the old days, right? Guys and gals who were in the old days, we were attracting just about any Yahoo that could sling insurance. So, okay. So what is magic about Power 10? Well, I don't know, man. I just got people started, and it's just really how I get people started. So if that's helping getting people started, getting them to 10 issue pay policies, awesome. But honestly, it was kind of by accident. So I'm going to go into like what I do, but I could be so much better. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm like the guru by any means. Okay, I'm still learning how to get better at this, okay? So just trust me, it's Andy Albright's the ultimate, okay? So don't duplicate me, duplicate Andy, how he makes you feel. Because I think ultimately Power 10 is how you make people feel about being in the Alliance and being part of our family, right? So let me start off with, of the people that hit the Power 10 in my direct to me, they all have a very, it's interesting, you know, again, the statistical nerd in me, they all have these same characteristics, which is just really kind of cool when I look at majority of them. Not all of them meet these, but a majority. Let's say, you know, 90%. Okay, we'll take that 90%. So what are the characteristics, okay, of a power of a 10, P of 10 person? Okay, number one, they attend stuff. Okay, they go to stuff. Okay, okay, like what? Hotspot meetings, right? They go to rally points, and this is one of the key things in my opinion. They go to rally points to get around agents that are dialing the phone. The dialing the phone part, it's a skill, and it's a skill that's caught, not taught. You can teach someone how to do the phone, but until they go out there and do it, they're not going to learn nothing until they do it. And the best way to learn to do it is to get around a rally point, so get to rally points. They attend all the conference web calls. Okay, they're on there consistently. That's one thing that I just noticed is they attend stuff. They need to get around the people that are doing it. And then they go to major functions like NatCon and Family Reunion. They get there. They figure out how to get there. It's just amazing. They all attend stuff. Okay, the second thing, they dial the phone. Okay, they dial. They actually pick up the phone and dial, no matter how hard it is, no matter how fearful it is. They figure out how to handle the fear. Okay, the fear that they have, and they power through it. They figure it out. And a lot of that is talking to other people that are doing it. Again, the rally points. I can't emphasize the rally points enough. We have a gal, Misty, out in Texas, and I told her, Misty, man, you have to get to Paul Roberts' rally point so that you can learn how to do this thing. And she's just so like, I really want to do it. Okay. She said, okay, I'll go. And then she figured out when it is, and she attended it. And she hung around Trina Noel, which I just love Trina. She's like one of my most favorite people in the Alliance. And Trina was just boom, boom, boom. And Misty was going, whoa, this ain't that hard, right, Misty? She's just like bang, bang. And she was like booking appointments in a different state. And she was like, wow, she was awesome. I go, yeah. And then immediately, boom, she got results because she listened to someone. But more than anything else, number one, she felt the love in the Roberts office, which is just, you know, you get around that team, man, you feel loved. Number two, they helped her, right? And like all the rally points, agents will help you. So, man, that's one thing I've found, the characteristic of people that is they attend rally points, and then they get coaching. They don't just make the same mistake. They get coaching upline. They call me. They call my mentor, agent mentor, Jonah, when they're having difficulties with booking. And they don't wait till like 3 days later. It's like real-time coaching. They call me right away when they're running into issues. The third characteristic, they invest in leads. Okay? Now look, when we get people started in our agents, we get them what we call bonus leads. So these are leads that other agents have run but not sold. Yeah, again, we're nerds, man. We pull out all the sales out of our leads, okay? We have a system to do that, so then when we give someone leads, we know they're not sold by one of our agents. And then that's how they get started, and they get coaching. And I want them to learn to go through the rough stuff to earn their calluses, right, so that they can get tough and they get coached. I want to know that they're willing to pound the phone before I invest my lead resources in them when they invest in leads. I want to know that they're going to call me. So part of it is really a test. I mean, they're going to learn from it, but more than anything, I want to know they're going to pick up the phone. Okay, so they end up getting through that, and they invest in leads. Okay, number 4. They call from the home in the appointment, okay? In other words, they don't let their ego get in the way. You know, because sometimes ego is the death of a new person. Is they think, well, you know, I'm not going to let the client know that I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? They call from the home. They call me. They call Jonah. Hey, Alex, I've got this lovely couple here. Listen, I need a little bit of help. They had this question. I wonder if you could make a recommendation. Here's their situation. Always they call me. They're running into a situation on the app. They call me again. I've got people call me 5, 10 times from the home. I'm going, glory, hallelujah. Trust me, you are not bothering your upline, right? Power 10 people will call. They want to help the client, so they let their ego go. They don't got to know everything. In fact, what's interesting is my brand new people do this, but then when they start knowing stuff, they think they vomit all their knowledge on people, and then they stop calling. And then when they realize, I am not closing like I did before when I was new, they go back to calling me, right? So they really kind of humble themselves and submitting, you know, their ego to their upline to help them out from the home. Okay, number 5. Here's one thing this is really consistent. They buy a policy on themselves. Okay, this is really huge. And I think it's the quality of person, okay, the quality of person that believes that integrity is important, that if they're going to go out there and sell a product, they better doggone it have it on themselves. Because if you can't overcome your own objections to buy a policy on yourself, how are you going to overcome someone else's? So they all buy a policy on themselves because they feel that power of integrity that is congruent in them when they go out and help other people. Number 6, they're figuring out a schedule, okay? Okay, they aren't perfect at it yet, but they're starting to figure out a schedule which then limits their distractions. That's one of the biggest things about new people getting started is that they've got their life distractions that are all around them. And I'm not saying family's a distraction, but part of our job is to help them learn how to troubleshoot their schedule. And they're just getting started to eliminate distractions, stick to a schedule. So the Power 10 people are figuring that part out, okay? And then here's the biggest one. They communicate a lot. This is huge. They call me all the time. And I love it when they call me because it gives me a chance to build that relationship, to help them manage their emotions. They communicate a lot. And so are you someone that invites communication, right? So that is they communicate their negative feelings. They communicate their positive feelings. They are just getting coaching, whatever. The communication is huge. Okay, so the question is, do you make someone into this or do you find them? Okay, well, my opinion, okay, and all I can go by is what I think. Okay, I could be wrong, but I think it's a little bit of both. I think that there's an element that you have to find people, number one, and then you got to figure out if these are the kind of people that you have. Part of that is you encouraging them into this behavior, okay? Part of it, expecting out of them this behavior, and then not everyone's going to do it. You know, it's a game of attrition. I definitely know that. Okay, so how do you, okay, so here's the how, okay? Number one, first you got to find them. You got to find, let's just say find people. Number one, you got to find people, okay? You got to find people, man, okay? Which means you got to recruit. You got to start bringing people to the party. You can't filter them through our system, through this filter to become a Power 10 person until you find them. And the more you find, the more you will find. The more people you find, the more Power 10 people you will find, as long as you operate some of these things that I'm talking about. But you got to get out there and recruit. So you brand new people are on this call. It starts with a warm market list. And Chelsea, can you let me know when I've got like 10 minutes left, please? I appreciate that because I'm I've lost track of time already. And I could take up, the 15 minutes that we're early, but don't want to do that. Anyway, it starts with your warm market people. Then you meet people along the way. Here's the other thing. You're going to end up having to, if you're talking about directly hiring people in your with, and that's what this Power 10 is, people that you directly hire, you're going to have to put ads. So I've got about 150 direct recruits this year, and I spent $1,712 a month. $1,712 a month for my recruiting. And this is what Andy Albright's. What does it take to get your phone to ring? Okay, $1,712 a month to get 150 people. I'm the number 2 person in the alliance hiring. Andy Riddle's got 280, and he spends what he spends. But I spend what I spend, and I've managed to find 150 people. Okay, and I spent $1,712 per month, right? So what are you doing to invest in your business to hire people? Why don't you go write some policies, man, so you can start doing it? Here's my opinion, though. My opinion is if you're not in the game, you start getting in the game when you have 10 hires per month, and then you're really serious when you get 20, okay, like an Andy Riddle. So there's only one person, 2 people, Andy Albright and Andy Riddle, that are super serious. And then, if you're at 10 a month and you're rocking, if you're not at 10 a month, my humble but accurate opinion, you're not serious about going EVP. People say, oh, I'm going to go EVP this year. Okay, show me how many people you're bringing in with per month. It's a simple equation. It's a simple question. No judgment here. Show me what you're doing, and then I'll know if you're serious or not. Okay. All right, man. Okay, so you got to find people. Number 2, you got to invite them. You have to invite them to stuff. See, the fallacy is to think you got to be like the mega, Jedi Knight, right, to apprentice people. Man, you ain't got to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? You let Andy be Obi-Wan. You're just the one that points to Obi-Wan, all right? You're the one that uses the Force to get people. You will plug into Andy Albright. Okay, so to use a Star Wars analogy, you got to invite them, man. You got to invite them you got to promote events. The people that have the biggest groups are the ones that are great inviters, the great promoters of events. Okay, all events, TWC, activity call, product call, President's Club. And gosh, man, the best thing you can do with new people to get them to Power 10 is invite them to talk to the President's Club people. They're awesome. And they don't got to be part of President's Club to talk to them. Invite them. If you're a member of President's Club, you can get the President's Club staff to help you build your team. All right. And so they will promote events for you. They will help you promote events. You got to get people there. Okay. You got to be good at explaining why it's important to them. So here's the best way to do that is, what is your person's why? See, people only do what they do for their own self-interest. They're not going to go to a TWC because you want them to. You have to always tie what their why is to why they ought to be there. Because if they want to make $2,000 a week, because they want to bring their wife home from work, they want to put money away for their kids' college, they want to flush their stupid job, then Joe, man, here's what you got to do. You got to get on that TWC if you're serious about wanting to do those things, right? So you tie their why to the event that you're promoting. It's just putting it together. It's no different than sales. Some of y'all top producers, man, you should be the best recruiters because number 1, you got cash flow glow. Number 2, right, you're good at selling. So this is just another skill of selling people on events, right? All right, so you got to know their why. Do you know your people and what's motivating them to do this business? Number 3, so you got to find them, you got to invite them, and then doggone it, you got to help them. I've got people that have recruited people, and they just think, well, I'll just give them a checklist of all the things they need to do. Oh my gosh, please, God, please. Don't lead by checklists. Checklists don't work. Checklist is just a nice way, a convenient way for you to abdicate your responsibility to help somebody. Let me ask you this, you fathers and mothers. Do you raise your children by checklists? Hey, son, here's a checklist of things you need to do to get your mind right and to get your heart right and go to church every day. Just follow this checklist and then call me when you're 18. I mean, is that what you do for your children? If that doesn't work for your children, then checklists don't help your agents either, man. Gosh, you got to help them, man. You got to take their calls. Take their calls, especially when they drive you crazy. I know some of you, oh, this guy's so negative. Well, brother, sister, when you build a team, you got to be good absorbing negative. That is your job. Right? And that's why you got to keep your mind right, plugged into your upline, plugged into Andy, so you can have the positive mental attitude to then handle your people's negative. You got to be their sponge. You got to take the pressure off them. Even though you don't want to talk to them, it's late at night, you're tired. That's the best time when people trust you because they know that you're serving. When people trust that you're going to pick up the phone or you'll call them back, man, that's one of the most important ways to build trust. You got to take their calls, man. You got to be willing to walk them through stuff, okay? Take the time to walk them through how to run a quote, how to download an application. Walk them through it. Show that you care, okay? You walk it through them once and you say, okay, now all the other ones are just like this, right? Walk them through. Be willing to take the time. So you find them, invite them, help them, then man, teach them, okay? Now look, there's only a limit. Like I don't teach one-on-one, I teach in groups. I coach one-on-one, but I teach in groups, okay? But part of teaching them is how to access all the alliance resources, okay? It's like that fish thing, man. Give someone a fish, they eat for a day, but teach them how to fish, they eat forever, okay? Teach them how to access the alliance resources. This is nothing more than you becoming a traffic cop saying, okay, it's over here, let me show you where to get that information. Hey, let me show you where the underwriting tools are. Okay, let's get on a Join Me, okay, or let's get on a Zoom and let's go through it and let me show you where it is, right? This will multiply your time because you're taking time to teach them how to access our enormous resources out there. And there's a ton of them. So that's why you got to help wade them through the forest of that. Okay. Alliance University. Okay. The underwriting tools. All right. I think one of the things that we did in teaching part is I did a evening boot camp on a Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday night, teaching the 3 parts: product, sales, and recruiting, or product sales and the in-home, on Tuesday from 9 to 11, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Since June, every week I would be committed coming to the office, doing a Zoom webinar for all our new people, right? And I would have 20 people on there, 10 people. I do for my whole hierarchy. I think we only missed 3 weeks, but we did it consistently. And we're going to do it again this year. We've kind of figured some things out with it. So we're going to make them more efficient, but we're still going to teach them live, okay, in groups, okay? And I think just teaching them, letting them know that we're committed, not just to give them, okay, just go to these videos and watch them, then call me when you're done and then we'll get you leads. There's this interaction thing. I think that's important, okay? Just my opinion, okay? Number 5. So we got to find them, invite them, help them, teach them, and man, you got to encourage them.
Hey, Alex, you've got about 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm on track. Man, you got to encourage them, man. Nothing is a failure for a new person. Never let them feel like they're failing. Every quote-unquote failure is a learning experience. For all my new people, it's like, man, that's okay. Look, you learned something, didn't you? I said, well, yeah, I did. Awesome. They put that under your belt and learn from that and then take it forward. You're always learning. Nothing's a failure. Failures is part of becoming successful. And so I've reframed failure. Failure is just another opportunity to learn, man. All right. So I think guys and gals that are good at doing that, like a Paul Roberts, man, he's the ultimate encourager. That's why I can't wait to listen to him later on in this boot camp. Okay. Do you energize your people? Like, do they feel empowered? Do they feel positive after you've talked to them? Or did you suck the life out of them? Did you give them a sense that you're judging them as a person? You can judge results so we can figure out how to coach them up. But are you making them feel bad about themselves because you're mad at them? Here's one thing I learned in my 20 years of doing this and probably 30 years of doing this whole human relation type of business building thing is that it's so important to edify and uplift people so they walk away from you feeling like they can do this thing. The minute you make them feel terrible about themselves, right? And I found that when I'm mad at people, when I get mad at my agents, I'm looking at my own best interests instead of theirs. In other words, when I get mad at them, I'm mad at them because they're not getting me to agency manager. They're not getting me an override. But when I get rid of the anger at them and I just want the best for them, then I'm more positive and encouraging. You see, so that to me is the litmus test on whether you're encouraging them or you're after your own self-interest and you're mad at them, right? Okay, I talked about learning how to handle their negative. The other thing is encouraging them in handling, in handling the negative is promoting the books, promoting the meetings, right? Promoting the audio, because the more you can promote the stuff that goes in their head when they're not with you, the more that you're working on them without being there. Andy talked about this at the TWC, man. When I can get them reading a book, I've just multiplied my time. When I can get them listening to an audio, I just multiplied my time. Again, he's the master at it. That's part of in handling their negative. Okay, Ephesians, right? This is probably the verse that will get your mind right. Ephesians 6:4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. What's the Lord about, man? The Lord is the ultimate in forgiveness and mercy. Like, remember your upline who had patience with you when you were acting like a knucklehead? Man, dispense the mercy that was shown to you. And man, you will get people to power of 10, right? Okay, so encouraging them is huge. Be patient. Be patient with them. Be impatient with yourself. What I've found is when I've got more people I'm working with, I'm wide as a fat baby's butt. Okay, we average about 21, 22 issue paid legs in width. Man, I'm not worried about one person not doing what they said they're going to do. I don't judge them. I've got a whole bunch of other people I'm working with. But if you're just trying to hatch somebody, you only have 2 people you're working with, and you're trying to get them to get you to agency manager or whatever, man, you put so much pressure on them, and then they just view the whole relationship as negative, man. Do not put pressure on people. Be patient, right? Number 6, okay, and I'm wrapping up. Expect and inspect them, okay? Expect the most out of them. Expect the best out of them. Impugn the qualities of the power of 10 people that I mentioned by expecting it out of them. Okay, but not being disappointed if they're not there yet, but everyone's growing, right? And then you got to inspect the results. Just don't let them go. You got to inspect what they're doing, man. You can't expect what you don't inspect. Okay, track their activity and then coach them up, man. Coach them up. I mean, what does Andy need you for if you're not willing to do these things, right? So again, do you make people or do you find them? I've found them because I found a lot of people. I don't think there's a lot that I've done other than these things that I've told you that has helped me identify them. I'm no guru. It's Andy Albright's taught me all this stuff. I just pass it on, man. I'll try to be a river, not a dam, okay? Okay, one thing, okay, let me just finish up with this. 2 things. Number 1, I know we got some big producers on this call. And what's interesting that I've seen in my 20 years is sometimes big mega producers have difficulty duplicating themselves. I think sometimes a lot of the big producers expect their new people to be immediately big producers. They get frustrated with them because they're not like them immediately. They forgot what it was like when they got started. So some of you brand new people, when you start being a mega producer, remember what it was like when you got started. Have empathy for your new people and don't expect them to be this, mega superstar yet. Okay, expect them to be that in the future, but don't get frustrated at them when they're not that. And then the last thing, books. The most important, I think, skills books, in my opinion, the things that have helped me develop my people skills is the book Bringing Out the Best in People by Alan Lloyd McGillis, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin, and then third one, Skill with People by Les Giblin. Those three books, man, are my, the trinity of people skill books to get started with. And I think that's all I got, man. So I hope that helped you guys out, man. Thanks for inviting me on this call. You guys rock, and appreciate y'all.